It's the Infinite Podcast. Go tell your friends. It's the Infinite Podcast. My God, it never ends. It's the Infinite Podcast with Rob and Cork.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite Podcast, the podcast covering the infinite and ever-expanding multiverse of fandom from movies, comics, TV shows, video games. We got you covered. I'm Rob. I'm here, as always, with Court. We had a special episode of the podcast just because there was too much dang stuff to talk about in the regular episode, the weekly episode. We were not able to talk about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 in that episode, but we are here to talk about it now in this special abridged edition
We're
episode.
back to doing our special edition movie reviews.
Yes! We haven't done one.
We've done so many episodes of this that we're back to doing something that we used to do.
It's a callback.
We're getting self-referential.
We're getting self-referential. So we're going to talk about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Man, where did we even...
What a picture.
We got all the things that we could have wanted.
Yeah, the Dutch angles are back.
The Dutch angles are back. Tom Cruise is back.
Cruise is back.
Welcoming us to his movies.
Yeah, the movies are back. The cinematic experience is back. Kittredge is back.
I'm glad that he... Whoa. I'm glad that...
It's in the trailer, I can say it.
I'm glad that he's cornered this angle of being like, hello, welcome to my movie.
I'm Cinema's Tom Cruise. I'm Blockbuster Cinema's Tom Cruise.
And Christopher McQuarrie's here.
Yeah, and Christopher McQuarrie has just made an absolute name for himself. That guy can produce, and, hats off to them for producing quality. I mean, that's number one praise of this movie. It's just, you feel quality coming out of this. Like,
I just love that intro so much.
Yeah, the intro's great. And
hello.
And it, gets you ready. It's like, I'm about to probably see some good movie right now. Like, there's a feeling of being proud of that. This is the project that they're putting their name on.
I'm Tom Cruise. This is Chris. Give the people a wave, Chris.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm also here.
Yeah. Good
This is my movie.
Yeah, good people making some great movies. I mean, this is
it's good.
They've been together since the Jack Reacher days in 2015. It's 2023, 8 years later, and look at them now. I mean, they have one of the biggest movies on the planet. And they really revitalized a franchise that wasn't dying or dead by any means necessary.
No, the opposite, in fact.
But they really are understanding the modern blockbuster and how to entertain the mass audience.
But I mean, I talked about this a little bit with John Wick, in that it's interesting that the interest level and the quality of these movies seems to be going up as the movies come along, and Mission Impossible is on a similar track. Especially with the newer ones, so the ones after probably 4.
I would say after 3.
After 3,
because Ghost Protocol to this feels like its own universe. It feels like its own piece itself. 1, 2, 3 feels like its own 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 8, which is going to come out, feels like its own 5. But this one, what it does a great job of, it's validifying the rest of the franchise, specifically Mission Impossible 1. So what I did to prepare for this, because I'm psychotic, is I've watched every Mission Impossible movie. I watched 1, 2, 3 on the Saturday. I watched 4, 5, 6 on the Sunday. And Monday I saw Mission Impossible 7. We are happy to report, like we said, this movie is great. I think this is probably the best movie of the summer. The summer blockbusters that we've talked about so far. It's probably this and Guardians 3 are the two best.
Because you're not counting Across the Spider-Verse, right?
No, I wasn't. If I were to count Across the Spider-Verse, in terms of the live action stuff, I think
that's fair.
This is
real good. It's real good.
I don't know. And you know what? Who cares which one's better? Let's talk about the action movie. Who cares?
Well, the biggest compliment I can give this movie up top is it's 2 hours and 43 minutes and doesn't feel like it.
Not feel it at all.
Nope.
I saw this movie.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, I saw this movie on Monday. And then we just saw it a couple hours ago again. So I've seen it twice. You've seen it once. I will tell you again, after seeing it, I got a lot of things just kind of confirmed to me about this movie. And yeah, I mean, it plays well. The 245, you don't feel that 245-ish. The acting is specifically top notch in this one for the summer blockbusters. It's just a good fast paced. The energy is frenetic in this movie. I'm going to talk about, I think this is probably one of the best second acts I've seen in a movie. This second act is absolutely breathtaking. I told you there's a side A and a side B to this act 2. And it is probably one of the best pieces of this franchise, if not just action movies in general. So
yeah, I think I planted my flag here in saying that I wanted to open up these kind of reviews that we do with answering one simple question, because it's a question I've been asking the last few reviews that we've done, particularly with The Flash and Indiana Jones, and it's a question I've subsequently been retroactively answering for other movies that I've seen, and the question is very simple: who is this for? And I find myself, if you listen to the last episode, I said this. I've found myself with the movies that I like versus the movies that I haven't liked quite as much. I've been struggling to answer that question with the movies that I haven't liked as much compared to movies that I have liked, where I know exactly who this movie's for and I know exactly what this movie's trying to accomplish. So with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, I will ask the question, who is this for?
This movie's for everybody. Like, this movie has a very vast, kind of audience to it, and it's a great litmus. Like, I look at this and I'm taking the fan event that I went to. There's a lot of different people. Like, I went and I got there a little bit early, and then people just started kind of pouring into the theater. But it wasn't one type of person. It was a very vast, different majority. Like, there was like older couples in there. There was like younger people. Like, there were some kids in there. Like, you can tell that this movie it's just a good action movie where there's nothing too profane, so you can't keep anybody kind of out from this. It's not childish enough to keep the adults from being like, this is just the kids movie kind of disguised. Like, this movie is very versatile, and I really appreciate that.
Yep, this movie is versatile. This movie, if I could just check a couple boxes, this movie is obviously for fans of Mission Impossible.
Yep. Specifically this one. Yes. I will give that to I think, I don't even want to really compare in this episode. I just want to sing the praises of this, but to compare this to Fallout, I think Fallout on paper is a better film itself. Specifically the third act, the flow of Fallout, when somebody's playing a sport and you're watching them and you're like, this is one of the best performances I've seen. That's how I felt about Fallout on my rewatch. From start to finish, that thing is I feel like when Christopher McQuarrie put down put the hands on the keyboard, he was just cooking on this script the whole way through. This movie feels just such a love letter to the first one, which I just wasn't expecting. Kittredge is in this movie, obviously, from the first one, but a lot of narrative pieces from the first one are in this movie. Even down to the Dutch angles are back, which is really awesome.
Yeah. So I would say fans of Mission Impossible, absolutely. Fans of action movies, yes, checks that box.
Fans of the movies.
Yeah.
Fans of, again, the broad audience. This is a perfect, Mission Impossible, let's go see that. Friday night, we don't, because there still are people, I remember when I was younger, I used to think about it, people used to go to the box office and look at the screen and be like, what movie's playing? Nowadays, it's kind of know what movie you're going to see, to the people that still do that, hats off to you, and this is a perfect movie, let's go see Mission Impossible.
Yep. Fans of Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Will enjoy this. I think he's very good in this. So I'm able to kind of check these boxes of the type of person that this movie was made for, the type of fan this movie was made for, and you encapsulate it perfectly. Truly, if you enjoy movies, I think we'll find enjoyment out of this movie.
Right.
Unless you're really into a specific type of movie. If you're into rom-coms, obviously don't see this.
I don't know. I don't know, because Haley Atwell, and this is probably a good segue to talk about performances, but like you said, Tom Cruise is great, I agree. He's great as at this point in the franchise. As much as we feel like there's so many of these franchises that run forever, there's not a lot of franchises in movie history that run for this long.
No.
So to add a different actress into there, while still having an actress from a previous movie in there that he has to play off of, he plays off of both of them very well. That being Rebecca Ferguson and Haley Atwell, but Haley Atwell specifically just is an infusion of energy.
You want to say the thing about Indiana Jones?
Yeah, let's get it out of the way. Actually, we might have to save it so when we talk about spoilers.
Sure.
So, I mean, a good way that we can kind of keep going about this to kind of, summarize and make this part, like the non-spoiler part, is we could talk about, box office, obviously, and you could talk projection, I guess, because obviously the numbers aren't there.
Yeah, we haven't even hit the first weekend yet, but this is projected to be the highest opening for Mission Impossible. They estimate by Sunday it'll hit 90 million, which is very good for an opening weekend for this movie. Obviously, Tom Cruise did his best to get out in front of Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yep. He's been globetrotting too, like all the premieres. Like he's just, because
he's a movie star.
He's the definition of like he's been doing like a little on the East Coast. He's just been popping up in random IMAX theaters and just having Q&As, which is awesome. Like. I gotta respect it. I have to respect it. Like, he's just into the idea of, like, big blockbuster movie making, but not stupid big blockbuster movie making. Like, competent big action blockbuster, great movie making.
I hope he does it. I hope he does it so, like, the lights go down in the theater that he goes to, and then, like, they show, like, the intro that he's in, where he's like, hello, I'm Tom Cruise. This is my movie. And then he walks out, and he's like, I'm also Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And this is me talking about the movie.
And I mean, the 2022 Oscars were a big one where a lot of people kind of thanked Tom Cruise for kind of saving cinema again with Top Gun Maverick. And I feel like the low-key thing they didn't want to say was that he got people back in the seats, but he got people in the seats to see a movie that wasn't a superhero movie or a Star Wars movie. That was the thing that he kind of drew people away from. So 90 million out of the gate is great. Obviously, this movie came out on a Wednesday with pre-screenings on the Monday, but still, good numbers. I think this movie could make 500 million, and probably would have made more I think this movie might play the best out of the three internationally, I think, too. The only one that's in the way is Barbie, truthfully.
Yeah.
I don't know how keen some of the Eastern audiences are going to be to see Oppenheimer, so.
True. Very true. And then I mean, just aggregation, critical consensus, audience consensus. It's to quote K2SO from Rogue One, it's high.
It's very high. What is it sitting at a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes
96,
right now? 96,
critics 96, audience 94. So yeah,
it's high.
It's high. Yep. It's very high. It's one of the most critically consistent movies that we've come across in the last few months. And yeah, it's performing well so far. It's projected to perform well. It's being reviewed well. I don't think it's quite going to hit the highs that Top Gun did. But, Top
Gun was the definition of lightning in a bottle, though. That was like the perfect storm of everything you can ask for in movie making. And it's like, whether you believe in divine intervention, but like that movie just happened upon the most perfect of timing it could have. So. And,
it happened at a time also when we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks, where there wasn't this just slog and slew of films, big budget, high marketable films that have been releasing. I mean, how many reviews have we done in the last 6 weeks? 6?
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, the fact that this movie is coming out at this time and performing the way it is and being reviewed the way it is a testament to its quality, just from top to bottom. We get, performances. I mean, the cast is pretty vast, to be honest with you. Like, a lot of the characters in this have quite a bit to do, which is good.
There's to even double down, there's quite a bit of characters in this movie too. There's a pretty big laundry list. And, thinking back, that's not something the other movies had. The other movies kind of had a tight-knit group versus like them, but it's not just the team. The team is still tight, but now you're kind of trying to expand the lore a little bit. But I think they do it, if this makes sense, they did it in the most Mission Impossible way. Because how clandestine everybody that kind of got injected into this movie was.
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree with you. The way, like, everyone, it's weird. Like, we talk about, we use the term main character energy a lot. Everyone in this movie has some sort of main character energy to them, like whether they're the actual main character or not. Like, they all perform as if those characters themselves feel like they possess main character energy. Like, I'm the main character of this movie, actually. Like, there's so many characters that I feel exude that, which I appreciate, because I think oftentimes that's for the better, because like it makes you pop off screen, and I feel like every character in this is memorable in some form or fashion, or at least every like main character.
Sure.
Obviously, there's the classic Mission Impossible room full of people that obviously aren't as memorable, but are all played by notable actors. Like
in fact, having the same character from Top Gun play the same character in this movie, the same exact character actually.
Yeah. So, and then I mean, just another like non-spoiler bit across the board. The action.
Oh yeah, I want to talk like the acting itself. Like the acting was great. Like everybody bought their A game.
Yes.
Obviously my standout is Haley Atwell, but also I quite like where Simon Pegg is in this universe too. Because he's been here this is his fourth movie that he's been in, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he's been great. And I mean, obviously Ving Rhames has been here the entire time. He's been in each and every one of these movies. Obviously Ghost Protocol was the one he was in the least. But regardless of that, he's been around the whole time. He's fun. I have some thoughts on him in a little bit. But yeah, Rebecca Ferguson as well too. She's great. Everybody's great. Everybody does their job and then some, and that's all you can really ask for. So, and then production wise, I mean, behind the scenes, behind the camera, Christopher McQuarrie's firing on every single cylinder. Obviously, Tom Cruise is a movie star for a reason. And that's the stunt work is just incredible. I watched a little featurette on the Rome sequence, the second act sequence, just breathtaking. They made it very evident we're doing everything practically. We're not CGing anything in. We're not VFXing any. The only thing we have to VFX in is coverage stuff to cover stuff up. But like all this, like you should see the car mounts they were using and like just nuts. And then putting it in Robe on the cobblestone streets makes it even tougher to drive on. It's incredible what they're able to do.
And in contrast to what we talked about last week with Indiana Jones, where all the action sequences felt kind of samey. These all feel
definitive.
They all feel definitive. They all feel very distinct from one another. I mean, you talked about the second act. We'll talk about it more in spoilers, but the third act has the same train, but two different sequences.
Exactly.
Two memorable sequences in and on said train, and then a third separate adjacent action sequence away from the train.
It's nuts.
So
yeah.
And all things that I can like immediately recall.
The first act probably has the most Mission Impossible action sequence in there too.
Yeah,
a little bit more espionage in the first act sequence, but you can define the acts in this movie very easily. Like there's no bleeding into them. They're very definable. The ending is satisfying, but obviously this is a part 1 and 2. They did a very good job of setting that up. The villain of this movie is very menacing and very and the theme and the idea in this movie is just very, very loud at a time I probably don't want it to be this loud. So
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean now we can kind of talk spoilers about this movie.
I mean, all in all, before we dive into spoilers, just highly recommend seeing this movie in a theater.
Yeah, the movie did not feel like 2 hours and 43 minutes.
Yeah, if you're worried about the runtime, I would say don't be, because like I said, it doesn't feel it. Everything blends pretty seamlessly from one movement, one scene to the next. You won't find yourself, checking the time at all. In fact, like you'll get to the end and you'll be thinking it's the end and it's not actually the end. And then the actual end is going to come and you're going to be like, that's the end? It's going to be one of those things. So, yeah, it's really, really good. That's all I can say about it. Yeah. So hard punch into spoiler territory. First and foremost, shout out to Mission Impossible for being such a good movie that you can get away with calling your villain the Entity.
Yep. So the villain of this movie is essentially AI.
It's Ultron.
It is Ultron. So it is a algorithm an artificial intelligence that they were using to essentially be the great, like what's better than, central intelligence, national intelligence, or international intelligence. Artificial intelligence that doesn't need the human error. That's a line they even say in the sequence when they're at the whatever Virginia CIA place they're at. They talk about they're just like the one thing better. Like now there's no human to kind of have the error of making any of the mistakes that quote Ethan Hunt would make. Like Ethan Hunt that cares too much about people. So yeah, this AI kind of goes rogue. I love the national intelligence director. he's such a...
This is Carrie Elwes' character.
Right, he's such a scummy guy, but
main character energy on this guy.
I love in the room where he like, they talk about the IMF, like, Kittredge is about to go and everybody's like, don't do it. And he's just like, you're telling me these people put on different faces. So you're telling me that when you guys don't know how to do something, you send these guys in to do the thing. And he's like, yeah, okay.
Oh, there's so much of that going on in this.
Mm-hmm.
There's allusions to Cruz going rogue.
Well, again, they have to turn into ghosts. There's talks about them going rogue. But again, this has so much energy from Mission Impossible 1 down to this sequence when they're kind of talking about, like, the ideal of the IMF itself is kind of called into question. Obviously, in 3, Lawrence Fishburne has a lot because Lawrence Fishburne plays this character, the same character that Angela Bassett plays in Fallout, where he's just like, 3 is like the most like IMF is a part of this organization versus the other ones feel like the IMF is like, what the heck is this thing even?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really kind of enjoyed that as well too. So Rebecca Ferguson's back.
Yep.
She's got this key.
Ilsa Faust.
Yes. So there's a submarine sequence to start the movie. The sub attacks itself because the AI. The AI is AIing in this movie. It's like it's got like an eye that moves around.
Yeah, very like technological Eye of Sauron vibes.
Yeah, it really was, especially when they were at the nightclub in the middle of the movie.
And then Cruz realizes like, oh my god, the AI's all around us.
Well, remember in 4, Benji talked about that in 4. He's just like, I keep having this nightmare that that an AI is gonna kill us all. This is the AI that's gonna kill us all. So and Benji says in this movie, he's like, I was right. I was right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're essentially, the plan is, Ethan's like, I'm gonna destroy it. Like, somebody should have this. No, this is getting destroyed.
One man should have all this power.
Yeah. And then Kanye West started playing. No, but Kittredge is just like, well, you're gonna get it for us. And Tom's like, well, I'm going Rogue Nation.
This is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Yeah.
Don't go rogue, Ethan. I'm gonna.
And then you start going. I love the way Fallout in this movie gets edited in terms of sequence construction. Fallout still has one of the best, the middle part sequence with, where they're trying to get, what's his name? Sean, what's his name? I forget his name, the character, the villain of Rogue Nation. What's his name? God, why can't I remember?
It doesn't matter.
I have the worst memory.
Jimmy Rogue Nation.
Nope, that's not it.
That's it. That's the one.
That's not it. I got it. Don't worry.
He's got it. He's got it, ladies and gentlemen.
Give me a second.
Give him a second.
Give him a second.
Hang on.
We still need to get our wait music. Oh, Lane. Solomon Lane.
Solomon. He's no Brixton lore, but he'll do.
Anyway.
Don't get me started on how this is just Fast X again.
No, down to they have a loud car chase through Rome.
With
lots of destruction.
Alright, things that this movie did that Fast X did already.
Or the Fast franchise did.
Car chase through Rome.
A submarine in the Arctic.
Submarine in the Arctic that shows up.
Yep. God's Eye.
God's Eye's in this. Inexplicable bridge mines.
Clandestine intelligence organization with no name. And I'm not talking about the IMF either. There's another one in this movie.
There is another one in this. What else is in this? We have a deeply personal retroactive villain.
Yep, deeply personal retroactive villain. They have friends to take the place of family. Let's get off this. I don't feel good about this. Anyway, again, back to I was talking about scene construction. I talked about...
you were talking about actual things.
Well, yeah, Solomon Lane, like the sequence where they play out the scenario of if he breaks them out in Fallout.
Yeah.
Same thing that they do in this movie. They do it really well in the Saudi Arabia sequence, where she's in the desert and he kind of goes to find her and, like, then he breaks into the government facility and then they go after what actually happens. Just good stuff, man. Really good stuff. I love the physicality Rebecca Ferguson brings as well. I also love the way she pronounces things. Just feels so formal, but just so freaking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, their relationship kind of blossoms, but I like that they don't kind of hover, like they don't just go full send into it. Like, and it's a line that Luther says in this movie. Spoiler alert, she dies in this movie. Elsa dies in this movie. And Haley Atwell's Grace asked Luther, like, were you guys close? And he says, in our line of work, we were. Like, for us, we were. So it's not like this is Ethan's wife or anything, but like, they're as close as two people that could fall in love could be in this line of work. Two people that do the same thing in this line of work. So I really like that little bit where they get to Venice. She's like, it's my first time in Venice. Like, you can tell that they're like in a not relationship, but they're together.
They're in a situationship.
Sure is. So yeah, Ethan's plan is there's a buyer. I gotta go get the key. Gotta authenticate the key.
Two parts to the key, naturally.
But in classic Ethan Hunt fashion, he's going to actually sell this person the key to every one of his superiors, dismay. Why would you give them the thing? I want to see where it goes. Just let me cook. But, however, there's a thief on the loose. Pickpocket. So Haley Atwell's introduced. Grace, amazing. The sleight of hand from Mission Impossible 1's back.
Yes.
I did not think that was something they were going to hit home with. The sleight of hand was a big piece of Mission Impossible 1.
It sure was. And it is in this. And it's pretty fun.
Yep. So she's a thief. And now we could talk about Phoebe Waller-Bridge versus Haley Atwell.
They're the same character.
They are the same exact character.
Except...
Haley Atwell is just incredible. They're both good.
Yes.
They're both great.
But this character is better written.
Oh, infinitely better. Like, she's got like morals. Like, she's got like a moral compass. Like, she's just so much more likable.
Yeah.
It just
and like when a traumatic thing happens, she actually like has a reckoning.
And she knows she's in over her head too.
A dead reckoning, if you will.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like look, I have no issue with how Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character was portrayed in Indiana Jones. Like, she was super capable, good at everything, fine. Like, but I also liked how Haley Atwell was like really good at this one thing and horrible at everything else.
What was the thing? She was horrible at the intelligence part of this, like the Mission Impossible part of it.
Driving.
Horrible. It's great. Like, giving your character like one thing that, like, you know what makes Indiana Jones so great? I hate snakes. Like, this guy that's not afraid to jump out of planes or like fight Nazis just hates snakes. Like, giving your character like one thing they're just very not good at is sometimes really fun. Like, Haley Atwell could not, like, she's like, I'm not driving. You could drive.
And the cool thing too about where this movie ends up, because spoiler alert.
Oh my god, it's such a good arc for her.
Yeah, because spoiler alert, this is a two-parter. So this movie ends. She signs up. Basically.
Yeah, she joins the IMF, which is
so
great.
When part 2 starts, she's gonna be like Tom Cruise. Like, she's gonna have the capabilities because she's gonna be having been she'll probably be having been trained like off screen that character, and when we see Grace again in part 2, she's gonna be super capable.
Also, something I really like is like how all of them have one thing. Like Ethan's the field special, and like that's something to talk about in 1. Like when they were going over the team, which Emilio Estevez gets killed in the first 15 minutes of that movie. Like he's the tech guy. Like in this, like obviously Benji's like the. He even goes further in my point about Luther I'm going to make. They have 2 tech guys. They don't need 2 tech guys. Sums up. But she's like the sleight of hand pickpocket. I can get anything you guys need off a person, which is really good. So Elsa was British intelligence, but she was kind of like a wild card essentially. But yeah, they all have like discernible things they can do, but they still, like, Benji grew. Like, Benji can now do field ops. To his dismay sometimes, but
yeah. To quote Butcher from The Boys, the Spice Girls.
They are the Spice Girls.
What's Posh Spice up to these days?
I can't wait for that to come out. But yeah,
they're stronger together.
Yeah, the airport sequence is really great. But there's
classic espionage spy stuff.
There's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
and that Benji,
of course there is.
Yeah, but the AI, the entity,
that tricky AI.
Yeah, but there's a guy in the airport named Gabriel. From Ethan's past, before the IMF. So a big plot point that they keep pushing is...
Dominic Reyes.
Big Dominic Reyes.
Or Dante Reyes.
Played by Deathstroke from Titans.
Yes! Shout out Esai Morales.
Yeah, he was great. He was
great.
His voice is just so incredible.
Yes.
Which I
He gives off, like...
He gives off Bond villain vibes to me, which is
He also
cool.
gives off, like, suave, like, Clooney vibes. Also.
Yeah. Get him and Clooney in a movie together.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do.
Neither. Batman
and Deathstroke. Make it happen. But yeah, he's there, and you find out he's from Ethan's past. And again, the big plot point that they were trying to push is all of them had a past before the IMF. Luther. I can't wait. But yeah, everybody's had a pass before the IMF, so Ethan's pass before the IMF was with this Gabriel. Gabriel killed, we don't know who this woman is. He just killed a woman that Ethan cares for. So, pulling on a plot thread, but Chekhov's gun, it gets fired later. So, good job. Good job, Christopher. You know how to write.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do a cool airport sequence with a lot of bait and switches, and this is where we get introduced to the clandestine. I think they even what do they call it? They call it like shadow group or something. Like, I don't know what they call it. But essentially it's just like a government, it's probably just like your ex-military guys that are just private contracted by, by the CIA. Go get Ethan. This guy's he gives the same monologue also that Alan Ritchson gives in Fast X2. This man is a master of espionage. He's a ghost. And the only way that I will know that he is dead is there is a wooden stake driven through his heart. Good stuff.
And he always goes rogue.
Yeah. And do they know each other?
I guess.
I think they're going to do something in the next movie because it was that look that he gave him in Rome. I feel like and then Coyote from Top Gun Mavericks in this movie.
Yep.
I don't know if you got this, but he feels very what Jeremy Renner was. I feel like he's going to be the person that, like him and Paris are going to join the IMF essentially in the next movie.
Yeah, because he's like, what if Ethan's the main character?
Yeah. What if Ethan's doing this to save everybody?
What if he's the protagonist?
Right, yeah, he's like...
And his partner's like, shut up.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, you're the young gun. Relax. You're the young Top Gun. Relax. But yeah, they're chasing him throughout the airport. Luther's doing a little bait and switch where he's tricking the satellites to make their facial recognition think it's Ethan, where it's just an innocent Italian man being attacked.
Yeah.
Relax, guys. And yeah, Gabriel shows up, but his AI glasses trick out. Can't see me. He's John Cena.
You can't see him.
So yeah, the key is lost. Oh no. Haley Atwell's gone. Grace is gone. She goes to Rome. Second act. Woof.
Yeah.
Woof. He's a lawyer. He impersonates her lawyer. They break out. She breaks out away from him, and he's like, "Can you relax? Calm down. I'm trying to save your life because this isn't just pickpocket territory. You've pickpocketed the wrong pickpocket people." So, and then the robe sequence starts, and this is side A of the robe sequence. So, poof. This all practical car chase throughout there.
They put Palm Clementine in a big truck.
Yeah, okay, so Palm Clementine shows up.
Cooking. As
Paris. A spoiler alert, she's the heat check performance of this movie.
She is...
an issue.
She's like if a horror movie villain dropped into a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
She is a mad woman.
Yeah. Just an issue.
She's like if you gave a barbarian a tank.
She's got her skill trees all unlocked. Like, she's got fighting, she's got driving, she's got everything unlocked.
She is a crazy woman.
It's a problem. Like,
she's driving, just barreling through.
Well, she kills those guys immediately. She's just like, get me to him right now.
She's barreling through cop cars, through civilian cars.
Just screaming the whole... She's like smiling and screaming the whole way. It's great.
It's incredible.
Amazing. Obviously, she's Gabriel's right-hand woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's trying to get after Ethan. The Paris police are trying to stop Ethan, and the clandestine and the military guys are trying to stop Ethan. So he's like, well, we gotta go, man. And just an incredible sequence, incredibly constructed, really well thought out.
Yep.
It's got big Mission Impossible vibes, but just great practical vibes to it as well too. The car, little yellow car, big 1960s Mission Impossible energy, great stuff. So yeah, Grace escapes. Ethan's like, Benji and Luther meet up with him. They're just like, oh, and who's also there?
Yep. Elsa's there.
Elsa's there, and he told Elsa, "Stay dead. I need you to stay dead."
She's like, "I'm not gonna. I'm going rogue.
I'm going with you because I like you. At the very least, I like you.
I'm going rogue.
I'm going rogue. Going Rogue Nation, which I showed up. Man, her introduction in Rogue Nation was perfect. But yeah, they go to meet. What's her name? White Widow.
Yep. Who was played by Vanessa Redgrave in the first movie. Mm-hmm. Same character.
Yep. Wait, no, it was Vanessa Kirby. Both times.
She's the daughter of the original arms dealer from 1.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I'm thinking from Fallout, not from the first one.
Yeah.
But yes, like you said, it's the original daughter, which is really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are Now it's tense. This is the talking that they were talking about in all the reviews for this movie.
Yeah.
It's too much talk. No, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
Really tense. I love the fact that she doesn't know that that's Ethan Hunt. She still thinks that's John Lark. And that's my, I'll spoil my favorite joke where Benji's just like, she still thinks you're John Lark, and Ethan's like, how did you know I'm not John Lark? And Benji's like...
Yeah, he goes, she still thinks you're John Lark, international mass murderer, and he's like, how do you know I'm not?
And Benji's like, wait a minute. Who's who?
Who's who? We don't know who anybody is.
We don't.
If you were tired of Mission Impossible face swapping, I got bad news for you.
Oh, there's so much face swapping in this movie. So yeah, they have here's the debate. So this AI is all knowing, and Gabriel's essentially the
messenger.
He's what's the best way to put it? He's the Iron Fist of the.
He's like the Silver Surfer.
Right.
The AI's Galactus.
Yeah, he's the herald of the AI. So he's just like, the AI is all knowing, and like Ethan pulls the Obi-Wan from episode 3.
Yeah,
like, you're a psychotic fanatic.
You're a fanatic because
you sound like an idiot.
Yeah, because Gabriel's like, it's a probability matrix. Like the AI, the entity has seen all. It calculates your moves before you make them, and by the end of the night, one of the two women you love are going to die.
Yeah, what needs to happen.
Ethan's like, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Guess what? The entity was right.
Yeah. And then this is side B. So there's a little chase sequence. So everybody escapes. Gabriel escapes. And then Ethan's like, I gotta go after him. I gotta go try to get the key. I gotta get to her. And he's just like, Gabriel's just waiting there on the bridge. He's just like, hey, what do we do now?
Main character energy.
What do we do now? We wait.
Main character energy.
So Grace is escaping with the key, obviously, because she's still a thief. So she just wants to get out of this, essentially, and just make her money and just escape. Just turn into a ghost.
Yep.
So yeah, Ethan's run. Oh, if you didn't think Tom Cruise was going to run... Probably some of the best running in this franchise.
Yes, it's good running.
It's well shot. So he's running through like the category. He's running through like the streets in Rome. But Benji been taken over by the AI. The AI's giving him false directions. And then lo and behold, Grace gets to Gabriel. They fight. Grace is actually not a bad fighter, which kind of makes sense where she's still outmatched, but
she's like scrappy.
Exactly. Like she can still hold her own. So she's got the bones, but you know who's an actual real life good fighter? Elsa. No. Man, what he gives it, this is one of the best part. This might be my best part of the movie when he's just like, I was hoping it was you. And then the score starts to kick up, and then he's like silhouetted running through like the hallways in Rome. I'm like, this is the truest form of cinema I've ever. This is insane.
Oh yeah.
So it's incredible. The fight sequences are well done. They're shot in the wide, so you can kind of see what's going on. There's not a million cuts, thank God.
Yep. And there's always like they do a good job of volleying back and forth between the fight and Cruise running because it's like,
close is he?
Yeah. Is he going to get there in time? And no.
Yeah.
Is the answer.
Yeah. So Gabriel kills Elsa, and Ethan's like, oh man, that shot, that like shoulder shot they do.
It's my favorite shot.
Close to the head where he's walking up to Elsa like shell shocked because he already kind of went through this. Like obviously one of my favorite villains from this franchise is Philip Seymour Hoffman in 3. Killing his wife for what he thought in the beginning of the third one. Like he probably thought about that. He thought about Marie, which we don't know much about, but we know it's a woman that he cared about that was killed by Gabriel. So again, he's like,
and Gabriel had this conversation with Grace earlier where he's like, this is what happened.
Yeah,
like,
let me tell you your story.
Yeah, like women he claims they care about always die.
Mm-hmm. And he was right.
He was right.
Yeah, he is right. Elsa's dead, and then when they cut back to the shot of, instead of the nice sunset in Venice, they cut back to the same shot of just him leaning over the edge. I'm like, what are we, man?
Yeah.
Cooking. And then into the third act. And then here is where this is where Helena should have had her heel turn in Indiana Jones, which Grace has immediately. She's just like, I'm sorry. I did this. What can I do?
And then Ving Rhames ultimately goes,
this is the Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah. And Ving Rhames like immediately is like, no, like this, you didn't cause this. Like this happened to you. Mm-hmm. And now it's the classic case of like, you didn't cause this. This is happening to you. Now what are you going to do about it?
With great power, with great thievery comes great responsibility.
Like that's basically what this sequence is like, okay, you're in this now. what are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes some coaxing. It does take some coaxing to get her on board.
Well, another big piece they add is just like, well, this is the lore moment. This is like, a spoiler, like, each of us had a moment in our life. Like, we are not amazing people in this room.
Yeah.
We each had things that we did, but we were offered a choice. Like, it's either, you have 3 choices. You go to prison for the rest of your life, you get killed, or you join. That's your you choose to accept.
You join the Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Nope. Wrong movie. You join the Morbiuses. So yeah, she gets her choice, and then here's the plan. Gabriel talks about, he's like, I don't need the key right now. I'm gonna get it tomorrow. It's gonna drop at my feet on the Orient Express. I love the fact that train was called the Orient Express.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. You know what this movie felt like a little bit? Felt like the way that I felt about No Time to Die. Like, it had the Mission Impossible stuff in there.
Yeah.
But also being serious about itself, which is good. So yeah, the choice is she's gonna impersonate the White Widow. Her and her brother, they're gonna get on the train. They're gonna get the key. They're gonna escape.
Yep.
Give me the famous Leonard Snart line from The Flash.
Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.
Exactly what happens. So magically, while they're trying to make both masks, the brother's mask fails, so she has to go in alone. Ethan's gonna find another way. Isn't there a big stunt that's supposed to happen in these movies?
Yeah, you might be sitting there watching this movie thinking to yourself, where's the base jumping stunt?
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming. Give it a second. They really build up to it too. They really try to get you there. So yeah, they get to the train. She's by herself, and who's on the frickin' train? There's 2 people on the train.
There's heaps of people on the train.
There's
every main character is on this train.
Yeah, that train is really famous. So yeah,
it's a real Orient Express.
It is a real Orient Express. So Kittredge is on the train, so you learn that
he's the buyer. He's the
buyer, but Kittredge isn't the evil one. But it's still Kittredge. You know what I mean? Ugh. But you find out who the evil one in that room. It was
Carrie Elwes.
Yeah, it was the national intelligence director as the evil one. So essentially, what he's going to do, he's going to turn America into a super state. He's going to kill anybody in the government that doesn't want this and doesn't want the AI. And he's going to team up with Gabriel. That's
he's the one
plan.
who blew up the Russian sub.
Right, yep. Well, he was just supposed to send a warning to the Russian sub, but then
the AI took over.
For reasons we cannot understand, the AI took over, killed it. He said it overachieved. It took out everybody on that sub, and I'm the only man on planet Earth who knows where the sub is.
And Gabriel's like, you gave me too much information.
Now you're dead.
Now you're dead.
Oh man, that little turn he has, because it's a good piece of, movie making, like, where he's just like, I knew you would betray me, and in your head you're like, he's talking to the national intelligence director, but then he keeps turning, and I'm like, why are you turning towards Paris? She didn't do anything. He's just like, well, you're gonna betray me because Hunt let you live. She could fight. She could hold her own, but she gets stabbed. When did I get stabbed? So yeah, she gets stabbed. Who else is on this train? Kittredge is there.
Vanessa Kirby's on the train.
Vanessa Kirby's there. What do we call the 2 of them?
They're just the agents.
Yeah, the agents are there. Old agent and young agent are there.
Ethan Hunt is not there.
Ethan Hunt's not, but he's trying to get there.
And he keeps missing the train.
Yes. Meanwhile, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it because it's just so sweet. So yeah, Ethan's just like, Benji, get me on the train. He's just like, I got an idea. Why don't you jump off this cliff and land on the train? Parachute on the train. And he's just like, well, I didn't do a big stunt for this movie. Let's do it.
I'm Tom Cruise, damn it.
And then they do it. Woof.
It's like being on a roller coaster.
It's nuts. It's insane, man.
When he jumps and the music cuts out and he's just free falling, it's...
Now I'm free. They should have played that. That would have played.
It's just an adrenaline rush when he does that.
It's nuts.
And then, yeah, pretty much Haley Atwell almost goes into business for herself.
Yeah, well, she has the White Widow's face on, so she goes to Kittredge. Kittredge is just like, well, you're going to give me the full completed key, and I'm going to give you $100 million, and you're going to dispense this into an account of your choosing. She's just like, ooh, I know my accounting information off the top of my head.
And she also says, as Vanessa Kirby, you're going to basically wipe Grace's slate clean.
Yep.
And Kittredge's like, this is an oddly specific request.
But
fine.
Yeah. We're good. So yeah, she gets there. She gets all the money. It's at 100% completion, but she's just like, I'm actually not a horrible person. Decline. Steals the key back from Kittredge. and then the actual White Widow comes in, and then oh man, that was a good bit where Kittredge is just like, he turns to Zola, he's just like, go after her. He's like, who? The other one, you idiot! Go after the other one.
You discount Tom Hardy?
Yeah, that is big discount Tom. That's great value Tom Hardy. But yeah, so action ensues. She's at her wit's end. Zola's just like, put the key down or I'll shoot you. She puts the key down, shoot her again.
Shoot her anyway.
Shoot her. And then Tom Cruise busts through the window and murders that one guy. And then knocks Zola out. And then, but the train's on a runaway train.
Of course.
And then, big fight. Gabriel,
it's non-stop now.
Yeah,
Now this movie's it's non-stop with
it's just action.
Whoever's in that movie. Not non-stop. That's the plane one. There's a train one. What's the runaway train one?
Oh, Unstoppable.
That's it.
Yep.
Now it's Unstoppable.
Right. So they have their fight. So Gabriel's fighting, and one thing I actually appreciate. Usually in this situation, it's like necessary that the villain, because you're this deep into the front. I like the fact that Ethan's so capable. Like he's already been through so much. Where like hand to hand, he's kind of like almost impenetrable hand to hand.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't really come up against this match hand to hand. Which makes sense, but Gabriel's so formidable himself. He's got his knives, his staple knives at this point. So yeah, and they had a little conversation, Luther and him. This is why I really like Ving Rhames' character in this franchise, because this is kind of like, this is where he stays. It's like, I'm gonna ask you a question, not as agents, but as your friend. Like, once you get to Gabriel, what are you gonna do? Because we need to know what this key unlocks. This will not mean anything. And he's just like, I'm gonna bring him in. Guess what he doesn't do? He goes right for the jugular. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you. You killed my love interest, Rebecca Ferguson. You killed the Sayadina of the Fremen. You jerk. But the agents show up. Put it down, Hunt. Put it down.
You put that gun down.
Put that gun. Oh man, they should have got Tommy Lee Jones in this franchise, especially off the back of The Fugitive too. That would have played.
You put that gun down. This man killed my wife.
Yeah, I did not kill Elsa Faust. You put that gun down there. Oh man, Wesley Snipes is in that movie.
He is.
But yeah, so Kittredge tells them, go get Hunt, and because I'm not really here, so I'm going to tell you what to do. But then Hunt's just like, look, all these people on this train are going to die.
I'm the main character.
I'm the main character, so you guys are going to listen to me. That might be the funniest bit where they go back and Kittredge's just like, I just tell you guys to do something else, and he's just like, since you're not really here, sir, I don't have to listen to you, idiot. And then he walks away.
True story.
True story, bro. And then the hijinks, the Mission Impossible hijinks ensue. So oh man, it is Fast and Furious. It is Fast X. So there's bombs, like the contingency plan bombs. Gabriel escapes right before this.
He's got the key. Or does he?
Sleight of hand from Mission Impossible 1's back. So Ethan really has the key. Ethan!
I love that. I loved it.
Good stuff. But there's bombs, so now no matter if you get to stop the train, it's going off the rails. Good stuff. Oh man, the hijinks is great. It's like each car has a different obstacle. It's like a video game. Like each car has a different thing you have to beat to get to the next car, and each train car gets difficult and more difficult.
Yeah.
The food car is hilarious because the oil starts spilling, so they start slipping.
And then everything lights on fire.
And then they escape. And then there's a piano that's gonna fall on them. I do quite like the bit where like she wouldn't let go of him. He's just like, well, Grace, I have to jump to the other side to save your life. She's like, yep. She's like, nope. But lo and behold, who saves them? Paris saves them. She comes in, she holds Ethan, and then a pretty emotional bit. She's just like, why did you save me? And then she tells him,
I'm going to set you up for Dead Reckoning Part 2, Tom Cruise.
Yeah. It's on a sub. He's like, a submarine? A subway sub? No, a submarine. Oh, that makes more sense.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, that's kind of what happens, but the agents show back up. The good Coyote from Top Gun goes, she's still alive, so she can be a part of the IMF with me in the next movie.
And then Tom Cruise is like,
deuces. Kittredge comes back, and and Grace is just like, well, I accept. And he's just like,
other guy has a shot at Tom Cruise. He doesn't take it.
I think they know each other.
Tom Cruise does a little spinny bit on a parachute.
You know what I would love for his character? Like, I guarantee you both of them were going for the same position in the IMF and Tom Cruise beating him out.
Should that character have been played by Matt Dillon?
What about Matt Damon?
Nah, Matt Damon's too famous.
Yeah. Matt Dillon would have been kind of funny. But yeah, that would be fun lore that like he beat him out for that spot.
Yeah.
In the Bravo Echo 1-1 designator, like that's who he was supposed to. He stole my job.
But then, yeah, you're right. Haley Atwell goes up to Kittrick and she's like, I want to do a Mission Impossible.
Yeah, and then this is actually a really satisfying ending because Kittrick launches into his, the IMF, like, should you choose to accept speech. It's really good stuff. And yeah, we pan into the sub.
Dun, 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 dun.
And that's the movie. Good stuff.
It's real good.
Let's give out some categories.
Yeah.
And I'm ending with my theory.
Okay. I'm ready.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. New category alert. Hit us with the new categories.
Best gadget.
Best gadget. The knockout gas.
That's good. I like the infrared glasses that he was using to track the key.
Good stuff.
And also track facial recognition.
Sure. Good stuff. What's your other one? Didn't you have two?
Oh yeah, I did have another one inspired by Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah,
it's the James Rhodes "You Earned All This Smoke, Brother" award.
Who earned all this smoke? Who got the hands?
I would say
that hallway
I think Carrie Elba's brought all the smoke.
Well, his two goons did. Yeah.
I think Carrie Elba's earned all the smoke.
Got all the smoke.
They definitely earned that smoke.
They unfortunately took advantage of Paris, and then she immediately murdered both.
Yeah,
of them.
You're right. It is them.
The most satisfying murders of people.
They did earn that smoke.
They did earn that smoke, and then he earned that. You know why he earned that smoke? Because he gave away his whole plan.
He did give away his whole plan. To the supervillain.
That was the supervillain of the movie.
So I'm proud to announce, Carrie Elwes, you earned all this smoke, brother.
What a category. What a category. Let's do it. Best relationship.
Ooh. I'm gonna say Tom Cruise and his mates.
Tom Cruise and his mates is good.
Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg.
I'm gonna say Kittredge and Ethan. I don't know why. It's such payoff to one. And like I don't know what the relationship is. That's why I like it so much.
I like Tom Cruise and his mates because of the bit when in the airport when he's like, nothing bad going on here, Ethan. There just might be a nuke at the airport.
And he's like, there's one thing you get to bother me with, and that's a nuclear weapon. How much time we got? 20 seconds? Ethan's like, no.
Yeah, he was like, what? And he was like, well, we didn't want to bother you. You seem busy. He's like, if there's anything you can bother me with, it's a nuclear weapon.
Most underrated character.
Most underrated character? I'm gonna say Vanessa Kirby's character.
Yeah, she's good. She's good stuff.
She gave off she was very interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Every scene she was in, she felt like even if she wasn't totally in control, she exuded control.
And that's what you want out of your crime boss person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Benji's the most underrated character.
That's fair.
I just really like what Simon Pegg does with that character. Obviously, he has a good relationship with Tom Cruise with Bad Robot. Essentially, was just who's into this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he does really well. I just love how capable he is now, and he feels like reactionary, the best character out of all of them. Like he's actually this crap is real. He's the embodiment of that character.
Yeah.
Most heroic moment.
The train, the end of the train.
Sure.
Cruise and Grace train car hopping.
I'm gonna go Elsa giving her life for Grace. That's
a good one.
Yeah. Best bit. It's the agents. The endless pursuit of the agents, and they just can't get.
Just can't get him. Yeah.
Can't get Hunt.
And then Tom Cruise running is always a good bit.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Favorite cameo? It's Kittredge.
Yeah. The only cameo.
Yeah, the only cameo. Best set.
Ooh. Probably the Streets of Rome.
Yeah, Streets of Rome was good. I do quite like the Saudi Arabia bit, the desert, and that little rundown place that Elsa.
Also, like the nightclub.
Nightclub was good. It's almost like the sets are good in this movie.
Sets, yeah, right.
It's crazy.
It's crazy how that works.
Best 1v1 or best 1v1 2v1.
Grace and Gabriel on the bridge.
Grace and Gabriel's good. I'm gonna go Paris and the henchman versus Ethan
in the alley.
Oh, that alley fight is money.
Oh yeah, it's classic money. It's classic Cruise Mission Impossible. Like he keeps trying to get out of a situation and they keep pulling him back in.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that a lot. But the Grace Gabriel fight is really good too.
It's just that score starts. I'm like, this is cinema. This is it. Best heat check performance.
Palm Clemente.
Yeah, it's easy. Funniest moment.
That nuclear bomb bit popped me quite a bit. Mm-hmm. That made me laugh. Also, I love. I don't know if it might be ad-libbing by Cruise, but there's times where Ethan gets exasperated. And he's like,
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's ad-libbing, but it feels like he's the frustration just overcomes him. He's like, oh, for Christ's sake.
I like the bit where Benji loses it finally, and Benji's like, I'm under a lot of stress. And you're pissing me off, Tom Cruise.
I like the bit where Ving Rhames asked Ethan the riddle just unprompted.
Oh yeah. She's like, no reason. This is a question. Best exposition dump.
I had it when I was watching it, and I lost it. I think it's when Gabriel is explaining the entity to them in the nightclub, because it's just nonsense.
It is nonsense, but it's just very loud at this point in our lives. It's very evident, and I don't like it. Also,
Kistrick not explaining what the IMF is also good exposition.
Well, I was going to say that whole CIA, and I guess it's the I don't know what it is. The National Intelligence bit, is pretty good because it's not the fact that Kistrick is explaining it. It's the NIA director being like, this is ludicrous.
Well, he's actively not explaining it.
Yeah.
But also explaining it.
I love everybody in the room like, don't do it. Don't do it, because he's going to think you're psychotic when you do it. Best source material callback? The Dutch angles.
The Dutch angles,
Dutch angles are back. Is this Kittredge just the best source material callback?
Yeah. Probably, yeah, because it's the callback.
It is the callback. Best NPC. Oh, the agents.
It's the agents just as a duo.
Yeah, the two of them. I was gonna say the guy, the IMF agent, the rookie IMF agent at the beginning of the movie, where he didn't know what's going on. It's just a perfect contrast to see where he was in 1 versus where he is in 7.
It's just those agents, just because of the one exchange they have on the train when he's like, "Does Hunt always go? Is Hunt going rogue right now?" And the other guy's like, "He always goes rogue."
I mean, best musical moment. It's the bridge sequence where Grace step. It is the best bit of that score in that movie. What Lauren Balfe has done with the score, adapting it. And this franchise has had Hans Zimmer. It's had Michael Giacchino in it. It's had the A-list of A-list composers.
Yeah.
And I think he might have the best helm. It's almost like Fallout does it better in my opinion, but it's almost like a haunting feeling to it. Mm-hmm. But even better way to explain it, you feel like a gravitas when you're listening to Lauren Balfe's version of the score. I think it feels very grand, and it feels very pomp and circumstance, big time scoring. So really enjoy that. Favorite line?
Ooh, that's a good one. I do like the line that Kitrick has, "Our lives are the sum of our choices, and we cannot escape the past," because that's,
It's the line you put in the trailer.
Yep.
I kind of like the line that Ethan gives. It's very simple, but just it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter. I will kill you. I'm Ethan Hunt, and you earned all this smoke, brother.
Gabriel's probably winning that award when we get to part 2, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Favorite, or is it the Entity's going to win that award?
You did. The Entity did earn all this smoke.
Favorite world building or lore moment?
Just the creation of the Entity, I think.
I'm going to go for mine. It's the addition of Grace into the IMF. I just think it was handled very, very, very gracefully, for lack of a better term.
Come on, man.
It was too easy, man. I'm sorry. Favorite shot?
The bit after Elsa dies, and they kind of silhouette.
Good
proves there. It captures a feeling, which, you know, I've said this before, all my favorite shots always capture a feeling. And that definitely captures a feeling in that moment.
Yep. I'm going to just go to the smoke silhouette of him running through the hallways is just expertly done, mixed with like the score ramping up, and like, again, we didn't know how close he was or how far he was. We just know that you just know he's not going to make it in time. And it's like, it's the physicality of the bit. Like this man has ran in every single one of these movies, but I felt that run the most out of any of the runs that he'd made. Like that one, you felt something on that run, because it's like, you genuinely feel like this is it. Like, you're not going to make it in time. Like, emotionally, that felt a lot. It was a bit they showed off in the trailer, and I was like, this movie looks really good too, so I'm going to pick that. Favorite performance?
Haley Atwell.
Yeah, I'm going to also pick Haley Atwell. I think she's great. She has flaws. She has strengths. She's an actual character. She has an arc. She has a discernible arc. And it's really well done, where she's just a thief, a capable thief, and now she's a part of the IMF. Incredibly a part of the IMF. So really well done. And it's not like a fact that like they throw her in to save her life. Like, she's actually capable. Like, she's probably one of the best sleight of hand people we've seen.
Yeah, and
maybe that's the best source material callback. The sleight of hand from
and that makes me
back.
Actively want to see that character again.
I want to see how I want to see her on the team now. Like, I want to see her with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Favorite character?
Grace
is good. I'm gonna go with Elsa probably. Just because where she came from, Rogue One, like, she is Rogue One from Rogue Nation to now, like, I like the fact, like, I just keep thinking about the line she had in Fallout, like, in Rogue Nation, like, you should have come with me, or in Fallout, like, you should have come with me. We could have had like a life essentially outside of this, but you couldn't get out of here. And what happens to her is she kind of heel turns, and she's the one that he told her to stay dead, and she couldn't because of him. She had to make sure that he was safe. So I quite enjoy her. Favorite moment or scene?
Man, that's super tough. There's a lot. It might be kind of lost in the action sequence, but when they're doing the piano bit, I like that a lot because it really captures how much their relationship has grown. Like, she's still terrified, but ultimately she ends up trusting him. So I really like that moment, and I like the moment that you talked about when, like, he's like, you gotta let me jump, and like she's like, okay, and then she's like, no, like, it's very like real. And I like that. I mean, that whole extended train escape is tremendous, but like that particular moment is really, really good.
Good stuff. I'm gonna probably pick. I mean, I can't stop thinking about that. The part B of the Rome sequence, like, the ultimate death of Elsa is handled really well. Shows how formidable that Gabriel is. Showed how great Elsa was. Like, I love how she was kind of fencing him essentially too. You feel the physicality of the fights too, and it's just the last ditch effort of Ethan trying to get there too is just really well done for his character. And then I saved one actually, and I saved the best action sequence for our last one.
Oh man, Jesus! I mean, the Rome sequence is special. Both car chases, into the subway chase, into the hallway, or into the alley chases in the bridge sequence. But if I had to just isolate it, I would say probably the both train sequences in conjunction, like Ethan versus Gabriel on the top of the train, and then the extended train escape.
You're the train ending from Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
You didn't think they were bringing it back. I'm gonna specific. If I have to isolate one again, I'll pick the specific condensed hallway fight. Is just great. Great hand-to-hand. There's not a billion cuts in that fight. There's a really quick pan where, like, Paris puts her, like, she does the high kick, and, like, just that little weave it's good stuff. Like, great hand-to-hand stuff. And it is difficult to do hand-to-hand. I mean, I feel like we've been so spoiled John Wick, where, like, that should just be the like, why is not everybody, like, it's difficult to do believable hand-to-hand, because these actors aren't trained for hand-to-hand combat. They're actors. But I do really appreciate what they were able to do too. So, it's really good. And then as an extension, the Rome part 1, the car chase is just phenomenal.
You want to dive into your theory now?
Yes. Time me. Give me 3 minutes.
All right. You got it. You got the floor. The floor is yours.
Who was the only member of their team that wasn't there in the third act?
Luther.
Who's the one member of their team who was like the superior hacker out of everybody?
You're doing the Homelander's deep bit to me right now. Deep.
Go ahead.
What can I see through?
Go ahead. Do it.
Zinc, Homelander.
Yeah.
What's the box made of, Deep?
Yeah.
Zinc, Homelander. Correct again.
So who's the master hacker of their team?
Luther, Homelander.
Luther. So Luther wasn't there during the third act. What does Luther ask him in the prelude to the third act? He asked him, "What are you going to do to Gabriel?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't kill him, Ethan. Mm-hmm. Make sure out of anything, you can't kill him.
Mm-hmm. My
theory is that Luther was the one that made this AI. And what was one thing that kept hammering home in this movie is what was everybody doing? Everybody was doing something before they got to the IMF. I think Luther made this AI before he got to the IMF. I think he either A, forgot about it, or B, he said, this is too much for me to handle right now. I'm just going to let it and I joined the IMF, so I kind of let it alone. Mm-hmm. And then somebody else took it and perfected it. So I think that Luther is the inceptor of this AI that's meant to destroy everybody. And also added my theory, what movie did they influence the most out of any of these Mission Impossible movies for this one?
One?
Yep, Mission Impossible 1. Of the new team that Ethan had in Mission Impossible 1, who was the one person that didn't betray him from the new team?
Luther, Homelander.
Yet. I think it's Luther that made this AI. It was just very suspicious that he's like, I have to go to a place where the AI can't find. This is where I stop. This is where I need. Like, would you not be useful at any point in that third act? I think you would have been pretty useful, Luther. You've been useful in every other movie. I think you could have helped quite a bit in that third act of that movie. It's just very weird that he needed to leave at that point. And it was, and what did Luther tell him in that prelude to the third act? He said, you need to start thinking like the AI. He was and when they were trying to defuse the bomb, Luther was very, go ahead and tell it exactly what it needs to know, Benji.
I like it.
I think Luther has a little bit more to do with, and it would just be, because who's been the longest tiered member of that team besides Ethan? Mm-hmm. It's Luther was the only other person that's been with him the whole time. And the AI kind of knows. And I think about Mission Impossible 3 on top of that. Who had the biggest discourse about Ethan's wife? It was Luther. Luther said, Ethan, I don't know about this, Ethan.
I like what he's cooking.
I don't know. It's just the fact that this AI is like all knowing, and Luther just seems very prophetic to all the stuff that they usually talk about in those movies. I don't know if he's necessarily the villain of this, but I just think Luther knows about this AI. Oh my God! What if they break into the room and Luther's in there when they break into the submarine in 8?
I do enjoy what's being cooked here.
Luther's sus. Something's going on, man.
Damn.
And they kept saying, and remember that little bit they had in the movie where they had that argument? They were just like, who's the better like hacker? And Luther's just like, me, and it's not even. He's like, they said, Luther, how are you able to do that? I just can. The AI is hacking faster than I can hack satellites.
What a way to end that. Well, just leave
it was that Mission Impossible 1 bit that got me, because I was just like, John Voight was evil. Mm-hmm. The John Voight's wife in that movie was evil, and then Leon the Professional, that actually I can't remember his name from the movie, was evil, and Luther was the only one out of all of them that had no ulterior motive out of everybody. Something's up. He knows something.
Does he know?
Does he? I think he does know.
I think he definitively knows.
Yes. Get us out of here, man. Before Ving Rhames comes after me.
I love that. Great theory. I'm going to earmark this, and we'll see what happens when Dead Reckoning Part 2 comes out.
Yeah. Luther. Something's up, man.
Something?
He knows something.
Does he know? What does he know? What's he cooking?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Luther's got something. He just knows something.
Well, until we find out what that something is, you can follow us on Twitter at @ProjectINF_pod, not Project IMF. Project INF_pod.
You could follow us on Project IMF if you choose to accept.
It's going to be the alternate account. You can follow us on Facebook. New episodes posted every Wednesday or Thursday. This weekend, this episode will come out this Saturday after you listen to the last episode where we talked about a bunch of trailers and a bunch of news, mostly surrounding Deadpool 3 and Superman Legacy. But we talked about a bunch of other stuff happening, which is why we're talking about this movie separately from everything else. You can follow us on Instagram.
At the Project Infinite Pod.
Next full week, we're going to be talking a little bit about Superman and Lois.
Season 3.
Season 3.
Season 3. Jonathan Kent's recast.
New Jonathan Kent.
Same good stuff.
Same good movie. Same good TV show. Tyler Hoechlin continues to be just a fantastic iteration of Clark Kent.
And it's so simple. It's just a show about a family going through family trials and tribulations.
And this one is no different. It's one of the heaviest.
Yeah, most emotional. Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about that show because we only did season 1.
Yeah, we
right?
didn't even talk season 2.
Yeah.
And season 2 has the most comic booky stuff in it too.
And a lot of the stuff from season 2 comes back around, particularly the end of season 3, which we'll talk about next week. Can't wait. And then the week after, it's
D-Day. Or is it B-Day?
It's B-Day. It's Barbenheimer Day. Woof. Man. It's gonna be a wild time. Who earned all that smoke? Oppenheimer, probably. We'll find out. But yeah, until then, from me, from the...
Careful, man.
God damn it. You know what? Against my better judgment, I'm gonna say it. The Luther of the podcast.
Don't know how I feel about it, but I earned all this smoke, brother. Who wrote that?
Yeah. So Mission Impossible is a blast. I'm looking forward to talking about Superman and Lois. Barbie Oppenheimer coming up. Blue Beetle coming up. Secret Invasion, the end of that coming up. A lot of good stuff still happening. Mm-hmm. So until then, we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Go to the movies. Make sure you go to the movies.
Ooh.
Go to the theaters.
Different ending.
Yeah.
I like it.
What did I used to say?
Peace?
Well, no, I used to say more...
Oh, do a thing?
Yeah, read more, write more, live more.
Dun, 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 dun,
We're going to
dun.
get copyrighted now.
Dun, 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 dun.
Why'd they have to use AI as the villain?